This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock, joined by Rex Nelson of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, Roby. We made
you.
it to 2019.
I know. I'm just, every year is another blessing for me. So, food and politics on our agenda today.
Great combination.
Yes, let's do it. Let's begin with food first, because you should always start with food, I think, in this. The Arkansas Food Hall of Fame announcing some finalists. You're on the selection committee. You've been involved with this through the Department of Heritage and some other brokers on this. What's the Food Hall of Fame? Why is it such a great event? Why do you think Arkansas needs to do this?
You know, we have a great food culture in Arkansas, but we had long been overshadowed. I mean, we've got Louisiana just to the south. We've got Memphis right across the river with its barbecue heritage. We've got St. Louis to the north. We've got Texas and those boastful Texans to the southwest talking about their barbecue. We've got a great food culture in Arkansas, but I don't think we had ever celebrated it well. So 2 years ago, the Department of Arkansas Heritage decided to start an Arkansas Food Hall of Fame. We put 3 restaurants in the Hall of Fame every year. We put 1 proprietor in the Hall of Fame every year. We put 1 food-related event into the Hall of Fame every year. And then we started a new category last year called Gone But Not Forgotten, because as you know, there's some great restaurants out there that we all miss.
And maybe they should put people who love food as a category as well, because that might be the only way you or I are going to get into the food
exactly.
Hall of
We
Fame,
love to eat. Yeah. Who are the top eaters in the state? Maybe we would qualify there. But it's a great event. We've had good crowds at the Ron Robinson Theater the last 2 years for the event. We give away plates, blue plates. A blue plate special is typical in Arkansas. So we give away blue plates, and you will see those hanging now in restaurants across the state.
One of the, I guess the event of the year that has won, I can't remember if it was year 1 or year 2, is the Gillette Coon Supper.
Year 2, last year,
which is this weekend. So
the 76th, Roby.
I've been to quite a few of them, and I think the 70th one was one I was at, because I have a commemorative cup from that one, I believe.
Yeah, they've had the same plastic cup with the same design for many years. I've been going on and off for many years, for about 30 years now. Yeah. And it's pretty much the same cup, they just changed the years on it.
The purpose of the Coon Supper has changed over the years, and there is now a pre-Coon Supper that has become a pretty popular political event.
Yeah.
For people who have not experienced the Coon Supper and the pre-Coon Supper event, why are these such iconic cultural, political events in Arkansas?
Well, the Coon Supper itself for many years was, in essence, the football banquet for Gillette High School. You would celebrate the football team. They would give out their letter jackets and letter blankets during that event. Now, post-Lakeview, Gillette was one of the schools that was consolidated. And of course, the Coon Supper was such a great tradition. They didn't have a football team anymore, but they wanted to continue the event. So now they raise money for scholarships for kids from that area. Now, the pre-Coon Supper is held in an equipment shed on the farm of former Congressman Marion Barry, who of course is from Gillette, and it raises scholarship money in the congressman's name to Arkansas State University in Jonesboro. So they are both very good programs. The pre-event out in the equipment shed usually starts about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can make a full day of it almost in Gillette now, and the Coon Supper itself starts at 6 in the old gym at the school there.
So coach someone, how do you eat a piece of coon? There's a secret to it. I'm going to see if you know. How do you eat a piece of coon?
Very quickly. Swallow quick. I like it, actually.
You like it?
I like it, yeah. And I will never forget, I don't think they take the coon jokes about the food very, very well sometimes, because I remember one year when Jim Guy Tucker was governor there, he couldn't go that year, and Channel 7 did a little piece on him, and he said something along the lines of, well, you go down there, but you don't really eat the coon. And I'll never forget that the MC said, Governor, this coon tastes a lot better than the crow you're about to eat. So I learned then, don't joke about the taste of the coon. I like it.
What I do is I get the biggest piece of coon that I can find, because it has the biggest bone in it.
Yeah.
It tends to have the least amount of meat on it. So when you're done, There's a big bone on your plate, and then you can eat some ham that's on the table too.
Well, you know, when the late Jennings Osborne was still doing his barbecues all over the state, they started adding foods to the list. So now they've got ribs, brisket, and they still do that now, which I think's taken away a little bit because you got plenty of food now. Used to, if you didn't eat the coon, the only alternative meat-wise was some very cheap ham that they would buy and put on the plate also.
So you're a coon purist is what you're telling me.
I'm a coon connoisseur, my friend, a coon connoisseur.
All right, let's segue to pure politics here. Let's talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C. For people who are unaware, you were the political editor at the Democrat-Gazette for many moons, and you were actually in D.C. for
lived in D.C. back in the 80s
time.
for the Arkansas Democrat, before it was the Democrat-Gazette.
Interpret why we are in a government shutdown that is as long as it is right now. Why are we here?
Because real government is all about compromise, and we have a president who is unwilling to compromise, and we have Democratic leaders now in both the House and the Senate with the new Congress in who are unwilling to compromise, and so we get into this stalemate at this point, and this long government shutdown due to the fact that nobody is willing to compromise.
There seems to have been a deal that was worked out, however, before Christmas that, from my position, the president reneged on the agreement.
Yeah, I think
Otherwise,
you're right.
Mitch McConnell wouldn't have let those bills go that got 100-0 unanimous consent votes
Exactly.
over there for funding. So how did they get out of this pretzel?
I'm not sure. I mean, we've said this now for 2 years on this show, Roby, but we're in uncharted waters because we've never had a president like this. We've never had a president who maybe would tell people something in the morning and then change his mind an hour later and send a tweet out for the whole world to know. And so I don't know how we get out of it other than this president finally saying, okay, let's get a compromise, let's get the government back reopened. I'm not going to get $5 billion, but maybe I get a little bit, and we can add to the walls that we've already got along the U.S.-Mexican border.
Yeah, there's an old political axiom: you never box yourself into a corner. You always have an exit strategy, and most politicians do a pretty good job of putting themselves in a place where they can't get boxed into a corner. I mean, there's numerous examples here at the state level where we've seen that happen over the years, and at the federal level. But the president seems to be in a box right now.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
all or nothing, so.
The quote-unquote wall, of course, is a product of the presidential campaign of 2016. Trump's advisors were trying desperately in those early days to find something that would connect with crowds after he entered the race. And Build the Wall certainly connected with the crowds that he was drawing. It became the chant, you remember, along with Lock Her Up, of that
along with Mexico's going to pay for the wall.
So Build the Wall became the chant. So he came into Washington with that as the one thing really off of his campaign that he had ridden. And now 2 years later, here he is trying to ride that again. And it dates back to the campaign. It was purely a political strategy. I don't think there's much really hardcore support, if the truth be known, among Republican members of the House.
If it was, I mean, he would have pushed forward on day one of the presidency. That's when you have your most political capital and your most political goodwill, really, is when you come into office right there. So the Arkansas GOP delegation in Congress, I mean, I read the comments. Senator Tom Cotton, the only one that didn't comment, as a matter of fact, unabashedly supportive of the president, his position. You think that is a function of that's what our elected officials in Congress truly believe, or do you think they're towing the party line?
I think right now they're probably towing the party line, and I think it's a reflection of where they think that Arkansas voters are right now on this issue.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. He is Rex Nelson with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good to see
Roby,
you,
thank
as
you.
always. Eat some coon for me. I will
I
not
will
be there.
do so.
All right. That is all for today's program. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Roby Brock. We will see you next time.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.